ultimate season preview. SiriusXM NFL Radio's Training Camp Tour 2011. It's the SiriusXM Blitz. Here are your hosts, Adam Shine and Randy Cross.
Shine and Cross, SiriusXM Blitz as we broadcast live from New England Patriots training camp. Sneaking some more Patriot calls here. Deion Branch is going to join us in a little bit. Bill Belichick is going to join us in a little bit. Can't wait to talk to Coach Randy about the expectations for this upcoming season.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty good grip on, his football team at this point. And I think reading some of his comments the last few days, one of the common themes has been, because of the lockout, because of the situation they're in, even this team is very much focused on, okay, what's installed today? What do we have in the playbook? And worrying about, what's done defensively, what's done offensively, more than anything else, of thinking it's really focused. And it's not just the cliches that the people in this place will spew. More than any other year, this is literally one of those years where you just have to literally live by the minute because everything's up in the air. Schedules change, installations change, everything.
By the way, I think it's important to note what McCourty said, and he provided some examples about Albert Haynesworth in terms of a veteran who's coming in and doing his work. Obviously, antithesis of when you listen to his reputation in Washington. I'm not remotely surprised that Albert Haynesworth is coming in and has become a good teammate here with the New England Patriots.
Well, yeah, and it's because of sort of what we discussed. It's not like it's negotiable. Do your job, shut up, know your role, yada, yada, yada. Read a sign, it'll tell you what it is. That's what you're expected to do. And if you don't want to do that, there are 31 other opportunities you can take. Well, in Albert's case, 30. That you could ply your wares somewhere else. But it is alluring for the chance to be on a team that does have a chance year in and year out to win a Super Bowl.
And Bill's smart enough to know he's going to get the best that Albert Haynesworth has to offer because this is Albert Haynesworth playing for the rest of his NFL life.
Yeah, and one thing coming out of here, too, don't pay too much attention to PUP and practice time as it relates to veterans. Now, if you see young players that aren't practicing, that can be alarming because then that's legitimately an injury or conditioning issue. But veteran players, traditionally here over the last 10 years, early in camp, you don't see a lot of the veterans. And the ones that do show up don't show up on a regular basis because they ease into the season as far as that goes because they know they don't want to waste any of those reps on the field.
Dan in Louisiana, Randy, is next here on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
What's up, Dan?
Not much, man. Excited to get to hear about the Patriots. What do y'all think with as far as cuts will go? I know it's a little early, but who will end up making it as do you think Tate or maybe Price, maybe an odd man out on there? And also in the backfield, does Sammy Morris have a truly legitimate chance of making it, with Vereen and Ridley? Are they, how they're playing in training camp?
It's an excellent question, Dan, especially you look at Sammy Morris. Obviously, he's been injured throughout the last few seasons, Randy, but talking to Coach through the years, Sammy Morris is a favorite of Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and there's so many different roles the running backs have to fill. If you're going to keep four, you got to have four completely different kinds of running backs. And just because you're not here week one doesn't mean you may not be here week two, or you may show up on the roster again in week four, depending on where you end up going. But it's going to be a huge competition because this year, more than any other year, I think veterans are going to have an edge over the young guys because the young guys' learning curve is so steep. So if I'm a rookie coming in here outside of a first-round draft pick, any team in the NFL, I've got more work to do this year than ever before because it just doesn't cost me as much to cut ways and part ways and go in another direction now.
I know how much Coach values Sammy Morris and obviously Falk.
And Kevin Falk.
Yeah, and I think you really have 6 guys for 4 slots at the running back position.
Yeah, it's very similar to last year at the end of the preseason. You looked at it, and by all appearances, it sort of looked like Ben Jarvis Green Ellis might be a man out.
Yeah.
Kind of the odd man out.
Crazy a year ago, but that was the case.
And then he didn't play much in the last preseason game. And you sort of sat back and went, well, that doesn't mean he's cut. That probably means he's made the team. So, it's what makes guessing rosters and spots so hard these days, because what teams will do on September 11th, on opening day or on the 8th in the case of the Thursday night game are so drastically different from what you see in the preseason. Because if you don't see a practice, you don't see what a team is really like.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with those roster slots. And, sure, can they, I say 6 for 4, can they finagle it and turn Woodhead into more of a wide receiver to work the numbers and, get Sammy on the team? It's possible. But you make an interesting point, Randy, and I think it's really worth exploring with regards to the Patriots and other teams, but since we're here specifically, I think that a coach like Bill Belichick, he's going to look at guys. I mean, this is Super Bowl season, as they say it in New England. Guys who can help them get to that goal right away. We talked to Mike McCarthy about it on the show, and they obviously won the Super Bowl in Green Bay last year. I mean, basically, you're going to have to roll with veterans because of the work stoppage.
Yeah, and there's just such a drastic learning curve for the young guys that's exactly why. And you know what you have with an older player. And a young guy's going to have to really show out and show you something special. In order to make a football team in this current structure. Now, on this football team, you've had a lot of young guys make this team the last 2 years. And along those lines, this year may be an anomaly. Look at the defensive line. Look at the running back position. Look at the linebacker position. Look across this team. A lot of good young talent, but can they stick?
Travis in St. Louis, Randy, is next here on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, Travis?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm a big Patriot fan. I'm out of St. Louis. Everybody hates me for being a Patriot fan, but it is what it is. I guess my biggest issue is I don't think we won a playoff game in 3 years. I don't think we addressed, the pass rush. I guess I heard on you guys' show that we may be thinking about going to a 4-3. I just want some input on that. And as far as the deep threat, do you think we got any chance of getting Randy Moss back?
It's been talked about. I frankly think that ship has sailed. I think that, you talk to his teammates. He was certainly a popular teammate when he was here, Randy. He obviously did some great things, some eye-popping things. The undefeated regular season, I mean, that was as majestic a season as any receiver has ever had, any quarterback has ever had, obviously any team has ever had in the regular season. I just don't see Randy Moss walking through that door with the New England Patriots.
If he still has the passion, he still has the fire, he's going to help somebody. And I would include this team on that list of somebodies. It could happen. But that's an awful tall order for a guy as many years in the league as he's been, because I can tell you from personal experience, because that's pretty much why I retired when I did after 13 years. It wasn't that I had to. I could have played another three or four more years. I was just, the fire of doing it just wasn't there like it had been in the past, and I wasn't meeting my own expectations. And the way he finished 2010 had to just rot in his stomach every minute off as soon as that season was over.
I have to believe that you look at the skill sets and the differing talents for the Patriots in the passing attack, tight end, wide receiver, running back. Do they need a Randy Moss? I mean, if Chad comes in and does his thing, I would argue that they actually, for this season, don't even need a guy like Randy Moss.
Well, if it's the Randy Moss from a couple years ago, everybody needs one of those.
I don't know if that guy's around anymore.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I mean, if he's in that great shape and has that ability, sure, of course. But for a lessened amount, and a competitive team like this, it may just send the wrong message.
Quick time out, and then more of your outstanding Patriot telephone calls as we broadcast live from New England Patriots training camp. Adam Shine, Randy Cross, Sirius XM Blitz. More of your calls on the other side, 877 NFL Kank.
Every camp, every team. This is Sirius XM NFL Radio's 7th annual training camp tour.
Daily Coast.
Daily Coast. Daily Coast.
From the blogosphere. Daily Coast. To your radio. The Daily Coast is one of the largest and most influential progressive blogs on the internet. Now, the Daily Coast is coming to Sirius XM Left, taking a liberal look at what's going on in D.C. We break down what everyone's saying, from the politicians to the bloggers, the activists, and you. Now's your chance to take part in the discussion. Saturday, 10 a.m. East, 7 West. Daily Coast Radio. Exclusively on Sirius XM Left 127.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit matrixdirect.com.
Do you think you're getting your money's worth for your life insurance policy? Because if you're 40 and married and are paying more than $16 a month, chances are you're paying too much. Hi, I'm Brent Langdon for Matrix Direct. We partnered with American General Life to find you their lowest rates on term life insurance products. And if you're 40 years old and married, we could find you a $250,000 policy for less than $16 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. Call 1-800-488-8511. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how much we could save you. It only takes 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%, and the call is absolutely free. Call Matrix Direct. 1-800-488-8511. That's 1-800-488-8511. 1-800-488-8511.
Listen, if you're considering buying hardwood flooring, don't do anything until you've written down this number and received your free Lumber Liquidators catalog.
The flooring with high quality with an unbeatable price tag.
Call in the next 10 minutes to get your free catalog.
What I bought at Lumber Liquidators is a vastly higher quality than flooring I had installed 6 years ago, and for a fraction of the cost.
So if you want great hardwood flooring at unbeatable prices, trust Lumber Liquidators. We buy direct from the mills. Call right now to get our flooring guide and catalog absolutely free. It's filled with top-quality hardwood flooring, including solid hardwoods, laminates, and bamboos, and even Bellawood pre-finished flooring with a 100-year transferable warranty. The same floor Bob Vila has in his home. This free catalog is full of tips, ideas, and our flooring project list to make your buying decisions easy. Hurry, call right now to get a copy of this free guide and catalog. Call 800-206-9429 to get your free copy now. 800-206-9429. 800-206-9429.
You're listening to the only radio station dedicated to 24/7 coverage of the National Football League. Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88. Live from New England's Patriots training camp in Foxborough, Massachusetts, it's the Sirius XM Blitz. Here are your hosts, Adam Shine and Randy Cross.
Shine and Cross, Sirius XM Blitz, 877 NFL Kick as we broadcast live from New England Patriots training camp. Bill Belichick going to join us in a little bit. Deion Branch going to join us in a little bit. Obviously, ball game coming up for the Patriots on Thursday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. What does Coach Belichick, Randy, want to accomplish over the next couple days?
Well, he wants to get a real good look at some of his young players. Obviously, you're not going to see a huge amount of Tom Brady and Kevin Falk and some of the real veterans. And on defense, those that haven't practiced won't play. But, you know, I think that's the main thing you would have to look at. I think they run the ball extremely well. They'd love to see Hoyer get some good reps in throwing the ball. They'd love to get Ryan Mallett in.
What's your take on Ryan Mallett?
I was a big fan of his last year. I know there were a lot of sort of people perceived red flags on the kid. I've watched him throw. I was a little surprised that there weren't more man crushes out there in the NFL for that arm.
Just because of the arm strength.
Kid's got a cannon. I think he'll mature extremely well. And I've always been a huge fan of the whole idea of building value with your backup quarterback position. And not only with Hoyer, but also with Mallett, it enables this organization to sort of keep that thing going. Because that's one thing they've done really well this last decade or so is that backup to Brady becomes very valuable to other teams because of the way they're trained here and the ability to step in and play.
And I think it's part of the genius of the organization. Mm-hmm. You know, they obviously stockpiled draft picks. You know, a lot of teams have now tried to copy that Patriot way, bringing on a lot of quarterbacks via the draft. You groom them. They play, whether it's regular season, whether it's in a preseason game, and then you could trade them, and if it's a late-round pick and a higher draft pick, it's a way to build value in the organization.
Yeah, you saw it early on, and everyone goes back to maybe the old Niner days with Steve Young and Steve Bono, and Elvis Grbac, and go down that list. But I would go to what Mike Holmgren and Ron Wolf did in Green Bay. You go through that list. Go through Brunell and Hasselbeck and Brooks, and just year after year it seemed like whoever was in that slot behind Favre, you knew they weren't going to replace Favre, but, man, they were giving him every chance to get out.
I think it's a great thing that the organization does, and I'm fascinated to see what Ryan Mallett brings to the table. You know, I was one of those guys, Randy, I thought he can spin it, but I was very